always very and always accessible to everyone at any point of time. I warmly welcome you, sir.
Jai Gurudev, Om Gurubhyo Namaha, Hari Om. Jai Gurudev, so wonderful to be with you all on this last Sunday of the month. And we have a there are some interesting names that I see amongst the participants. I see Tony after a long time. Welcome, Tony. I see Charu, Cindy from Mauritius. We have our teachers, Hari, Chandrima, Bhargavi, who just now introduced me to you all. We've got Divya, Devyani, Jyotsna, Nancy, Nancy has a very interesting journey into Mandala Vaatika because she was so keen to join Mandala Vaatika, but due to the fact that we don't accept foreign exchange or foreign currency for our trust in our registrations, she was, just not able to join for a very long time. But finally, we managed to overcome that obstacle, and then she is now very much here. So Nancy from Canada, welcome. We've got Sneha, Shrestha, Sridevi. Subir has come after some time. I can see Subir as well. We have Suchit, Sudhir, Vinod is here. So all have I left out somebody? I mean, people who may have joined a little later. We have Rajaram, we have got Nital. Dr. Hema is here. Now that is nice. That's awesome. Nice to see you here. Ishita is here as well. Dr. Ishita is here. Devya, yes. Devyani, yes. Yes. So I'm sure many more will join, but let us get started. Is there a question? Yes, there is a greeting. But let's start off with a question. Who has a question for me? Yeah, go ahead, Bhargavi. Since you introduced me, you get the right for the first question. Go ahead.
Yes. So from the last podcast, as we got to know that when vibrations interact with each other, geometry is being formed, and this vibration is constantly changing. Is it because of that we see changes in our physical body as well, or is it something?
Okay, that's a good leading question to start with, I think, because let's try to first understand creation at a very, very macro level. So all of us who have done Mandala Vaatika know about cymatics, right? Cymatics is where any vibration can cause geometric patterns. Yeah. So any vibration will convert into waves if there is a fluid. Okay. A fluid could be anything. It could be consciousness. It could be the shunya. It could be anything. It could be the ultimate substratum. And these days, when I'm doing the explorations into Kalaba Mandala Vaatika, which is the next Mandala Vaatika blessed by Gurudev, I realize how many layers this reality has. You keep peeling and you think you've sort of hit it. And then there is one more to peel, one more to peel, one more to peel. Then you realize it's a fractal. Even our knowledge, and I'd like Hari's take on this. Knowledge is a fractal. You can keep going deeper and deeper into knowledge, and you will still be left with more questions. Knowledge is a fractal. Yeah. So, pursuit of knowledge, however tangible it might seem in our life, like how tangible this laptop is there in front of me and how tangible the walls of this room are around me, knowledge which we pursue, that we feel we have to acquire from our ecosystem surroundings, from our elders or from our experiences, are as transient and illusory as the fractal of creation. So the only true knowledge that you can get hold of is not what you pursue in a material world, but what you can download from the Akashic records. Because end of the day, the ultimate field for creation must be knowledge. It must be information. And if you can tap into that, then definitely that would be knowledge where you could just download anything you want. Yeah. So you don't have to pursue it. So it's a deep rahasya, and I'm getting uh, more into this rahasya as I'm exploring Kala Bhairava. Kala Bhairava is the first Shiva Tattva exploration that we are doing in Mandala Vaatika. And it so happens that uh, there is a Shiva Diksha that's happening just before Navaratri in the ashram. That's on 7th and 8th. There is something called a Shiva Diksha happening. And apparently they are oversubscribed by 1,800 inquiry, or rather people, more than 1,800 people are in the waiting list for Shiv Diksha. And when some very dear friend of mine told me that, sir, there is this Shiva Diksha course that's happening and I've joined it, it struck me that, I should also get this Shiva Diksha because I'm exploring Kal Bhairava Mandala Vaatika. And whom better to get that Diksha than Gurudev? So I said, maybe Kal Bhairava is not really coming into my grasp because maybe I need Gurudev's Diksha to explore Shiva. Otherwise, how would I download Shiva Tattva, So I was just thinking about this. And when I found out, they said that there were some 1,800 people in the waiting list. So I thought, okay, I mean, it's something that, maybe it'll happen, maybe Gurudev will give me the Diksha in a different way. And if he's asked me to do Kalabhairava Mandala Vaatika, he has to give me the Diksha. So I said, I'll wait for it. I said this, and within about 6 hours, I get a mail from Sachin, head of events, saying that Swami Purna Chaitanya has sent him a message saying that please register Prabhakar Rao for this Diksha. Now, don't ask me how this all panned out, okay? Don't ask me why. It was just a thought that came. And I said, sort of dropped it off because they said 1,800 people in the waiting list. I said, what the hell? Leave it. I mean, there must be some other way of doing it. And within 6 hours, I get this message and I said, yes, very much. I would like to join. So they sent me a link and within 6 hours, I was registered for the course. So maybe that's how Gurudev operates, So that's really when you see the universe working for you, right? I mean, I couldn't have managed this. So if the universe is working for you, then there must be something okay with whatever you're doing. So I'll come to that question. That was Hari's question. So I'll come to that later. But coming back to Bhargavi's question, at a very fundamental level, we understand from Mandala Vaatika that first there is the 0 point field at the quantum level. There is a zero quantum field, which is shunya in our Vedic understanding, and of its own volution in that Gahanam Gabiram, in that infinitesimal abyss where the waters flow. Waters means it's a fluid. It's some sort of a base fabric fluid here. There on its own volution, a spandana happens. A spandana is a vibration. So when a vibration happens in a fluid medium, it's like throwing a pebble in a pond. Immediately, ripples will happen, geometry will happen. And then it will hit somewhere, it'll rebound, and they will crisscross each other. And that's how I said that tatwas get generated. Yeah. And then the tattvas create everything else. Okay. So if we go through Sankhya Karika, there is the Purusha. And then the reflection of the Purusha is there as the Prakriti, because Purusha just watches, he's a witness. There is the Prakriti, and then from the Prakriti, the various layers of existence start to peel off till Pancha Mahabhutas are formed. And then the five Jnanendriyas and Kriyendriyas, the senses, five senses, and the five elements, So all these form, and then evolution happens, and we are a part of that evolution. So we ourselves are way down in the hierarchy of manifestation and creation. Many things have happened prior to you and me as human beings coming into this world. So, are we tattvas? No, we are made up of something that tattvas have created. So, the tattvas are responsible for the creation of time, their creation of space, creation of the illusion of the Panchamahabhuta particles, and those particles coalesce to form inanimate, inorganic molecules and organic molecules. At some point, life happens, and then life evolves, and then men happen. So, we are not really tattvas. We are the manifestation and illusion that has been created by the fundamental tattvas, right? So fundamental tattvas like Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, Saraswati, and Durga, and all these tattvas, they are very fundamental. And today, in our manifest reality, we are trying to invite the tattvas. So I don't think applying the analogy of tattvas which undergo change to create new tattvas can really be extended to changes happening in our own thoughts or our own body or our own mind and things like that. So I think we have to distinguish between these two. Yeah. So tattvas are very, very fundamental. They are like what science, like Abhishek was saying. I mean, electromagnetic QED, yeah, quantum magnetism. So, quantum electricity and quantum magnetism would be forces at the fundamental level. Then you would have the electrons and the protons and the neutrinos and bosons and whatever. So these are fundamental tattvas. They are fields from which illusion of particles emerge. So tattvas are at that level. By the time we appear in this planet, I mean, much water has flown under the bridge. So I really can't say that I am a tattva, because I am the manifestation of the illusion created by the tattva. Do I have a vibration or do I have a frequency? I think the answer is yes. Each of us have our own frequencies and our own vibrations, but let's not confuse that with the fundamental wave functions that we call tattvas. So tattvas are very, very fundamental. We are, way down the line, and really changes happening in us, we can't relate it to the fundamental changes that happen to create new tattvas. Do I answer that question, Bhargavi? You get that?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah. Hari, you want to have a shot at a question?
Yeah, I think somebody asked this on an email. I'll just present it to you. Somebody called Archana Dikshit. I don't see her here, but her question was, are there any specific signs that we know for sure that the divinities have dawned or come to our space and reality, as I'm not calling them with any specific desires or conditions? So she wants to basically know, okay, we are doing all these patra pujas, and how do we know if we have not called them with a specific intention that they are manifesting in our reality? So it's more like, what is the proof that it's happening?
Yeah. So there is a proof. Unless there is a proof, we cannot validate. It just becomes another case study. And whatever I claim, you have to accept it as truth. No. In Mandala Vaatika, for the first time, there is a very clear guideline that has been given by Gurudev. If the fundamental tattvas are operating अगर ये तत्व जो है हमारी जिंदगी में ऑपरेट कर रहे हैं, माने उनका प्रोग्रामिंग चालू रखे हैं हमारी मैनिफेस्ट रियलिटी में, जब हम मंडला वाटिका पूजा करते हैं तो तत्व आ जाता है हमारी रियलिटी में. तो in this reality, if a tattva is operating, then things will happen which are way beyond your control, which you in retrospect will realize that's what you wanted. In your innocence, you may not have asked for it. But when it happens, oh my God, this is what I wanted. So this allowing, if the universe has to work in your favor, you have to be in alignment with the universe. There is only one way you can be in alignment with the universe, and that is if you're innocent. Only जो व्यक्ति एक भोलापन में डूबा रहता है हमेशा, जो भोलापन उसका गुण है, जिसका गुण है, वो व्यक्ति हमेशा ब्रह्मांड से अलाइंड ही रहेगा. वो एक ही दिशा में चलेगा. यूनिवर्स जहां जा रहा है उनको भी उधर ही जाने का है. So the best way to stay aligned with the universe is to operate from innocence, and the evidence that your tattvas are working as they have been programmed in your life, in your manifest reality, is when the universe starts operating. जो आप सोचने से पहले हो सकता है, जैसे गुरुदेव ने बताते हैं ना कि सिद्धि क्या होता है. सिद्धि तो हर एक आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग डिवोटी एक्सपीरियंस किया है. सिद्धि क्या है? Everybody has experienced siddhi at one form or the other in art of living. Once you come under Gurudev's umbrella, siddhis do happen in your life. What is a siddhi? A siddhi is, what is the difference between siddhi and a desire? A desire is you want something, and then the universe makes it happen for you. You want something that is way beyond your control, but somewhere you have a ichcha, and the Brahman will make it happen for you. The universe makes it happen for you. That is how desire and manifestation happens. A grosser level in that, you want something, you work very hard, and then you achieve success. That is grace. So there is grace, then there is manifestation, and then there is siddhi. Siddhi is even before you have thought, which means you are in innocence. You have not really thought about it to say, I want this. A siddhi is before you have a thought, it manifests. And then when it manifests, you will say, oh my God, this is what I wanted. This is exactly what I wanted. This you will say in hindsight. And many people in Mandala Vaatika have experienced that. I can see Bhargavi shaking her head, nodding her head, because she has gone through very tangible experience. So are so many people here. I know Charu has shared with me, and I think she shared with all of you at some point. So Mandala Vaatika is more about siddhis, because for siddhis, you have to just be innocent. Because once the desire comes, then there is desire, and then there is the manifestation of the desire. That is a higher level of grace. So you have grace, amazing grace, and then you have siddhis. Siddhi is what we look to see in Mandala Vaatika Tantra. In the Mandala Vaatika Tantra, we are not even waiting for a desire to emerge. Even before the thought comes that I want this, it's manifested. That is something which only in Mandala Vaatika you will be able to experience. So, well, that's another way of looking at it. Yeah. So I hope I've answered that, Hari. What are the benefits of Tattva of Siddhi Vinayaka? I heard you say it has the energy of new beginnings. Yeah. So if you go through the Mandala Vaatika course, and this is Nancy who has asked the question, If you finish the course on Mandala Vaatika, you will see that I speak about how the tattva of Mandala Vaatika operates, of Siddhivinayaka operates. And the Mooladhara Chakra, that hexagon which is there in the center, that's actually a tube in 3 dimensions. And that tube goes right from the bottom of your spine up to your Sahasra. So this tube, the energy at the bottom of this tube is the Mooladhara. The Mooladhara is the tattva of Siddhivinayaka. So, okay, I think oh yeah, recording is happening, so good. So the Siddhivinayaka is basically, why is Siddhivinayaka shown as a tattva which has an elephant's head? Yeah. So if you know the characteristic of an elephant walks, and it'll walk to wherever it wants in a very straight line. It doesn't, go all over the place. If it wants to go from point A to point B, it walks straight. And anything that comes in its way, whether it is a small tree or whether it is some barrier, or like in my case, I have a farm very close to the ashram. And I have the elephant which comes almost every year. It wants to go to the place where it's been migrating all through so many years. I, like an intruder, have come and built a wall, but it doesn't respect my wall. So it will break the wall from one side. It'll go straight through my farm. Anything in between, in its path, it will stamp or pull out, and then it will break the wall on the other side and it will go. The first year I made the mistake. I came next day, I saw that the walls are broken, so I got the mason and built the wall. Then I knew it was a big mistake, because the elephant is going to come back. When it comes back, it will again break the wall exactly in the same place on both the sides and go. So after that, I learned my lesson. So now when it comes and breaks the wall on 2 sides and goes, I'll wait for it to come back, and then I will patch the wall until one year I'll be safe. So, so the thing about the guna, that is the characteristic of an elephant, is there will be no such thing as an obstacle. It will just, anything in its way, it just bulldoze, it just clears it out. There are no obstacles. So when you invite Siddhivinayaka, he paves a new road for you. You want to go from here to there, he makes sure that this highway is absolute freeway. He'll make sure that there are no obstacles. That's the programming of the tattva. So the moment that tattva comes into your life, you find that there are no obstacles, just things are happening, and it's like the universe is working with you, because Siddhivinayaka is one of the creators of this universe. And we always invoke, because unless you clear the path, how do you go? You can't do anything. First you have to clear so that is why he is also called Shubha Arambh. In fact, before any homa happens, any invocation of any deity happens, Siddhivinayaka is invoked. And if you see Mandala Vaatika, I mean, Siddhivinayaka was one of those mandalas with which we started, right? Because he is the one who cleans everything so that you can have a nice kickstart to whatever you're doing. Yeah, so that I think should answer that particular question of Nancy. Nitil says, Nitil, it has got nothing to do. It says, I've just finished 2 days of Siddhivinayaka Mandala, and today, for some unknown reason, I'm not able to access the remaining videos. Does it mean the Tattva doesn't want to bless me? Not at all. This is something as fundamental as your Wi-Fi connection, or just delete your cookies. We've got helpline numbers. Reach out to one of the people. They will guide you. But I feel it is something to just do with the cookies, because all the sites are working absolutely fine. We are on the new test press portal for those who have joined that particular portal. But even the old SPAE ssist.spe is working absolutely fine, So, yes, Nancy, would you invoke the mandala for healing to clear a path to healing? Oh, yes, of course, Nancy. But Mandala Vaatika is a technology you use only for yourself. Unlike other forms of prayer or worship or invocation, where you can do it for others, you can do it for the nation, you can do it for the planet, you can do it for your children, you can do it for your teachers or anybody, your parents, grandparents, whatever. There are many forms of invocation to the divine which you can do for others. Mandala Vaatika is a very, very different animal. Mandala Vaatika is only done for yourself. And it is for you. Now, indirectly, as a result of good things happening in your life, others may be benefited. That's a spin-off. But it is something that is done one-to-one. So this is one-to-one tattva. Yeah, the tattva and you, it is a purely personal, intimate interaction with the tattvas, like they are your best buddies, they are your pals, they are your best friends. So that's how you interact with these tattvas, one-to-one. So um, uh, this is something like you can do it for yourself for anything. Yeah. So healing, of course, is one of the things. So if you have to clear a path, then if your body requires to be strengthened, Siddhi Vinayaka will do it. That's answering Nancy's question. Tony says, can Mandala Vaatika affect our physical body like Agnihotra? Absolutely. Absolutely. Mandala Vaatika is something that works at all levels. The gross body level, the subtle body level, the auric bodies, any dimension, because the tattvas are so fundamental that when the tattvas operate at their level, every other subsequent level is covered by the tattvas. So 100% physical body for sure, they will affect. They can affect, like Agnihotra for sure. Agnihotra is also a Mandala Vaatika. That is what I mentioned in one of my talks, because you have the geometry, which is the Homa, Kund, the Agnihotra pot. If you invert it, it's got the configuration of the pyramids, right? So it's got the exact geometry. So the geometry is there. Then the mantra is there. And then the plant offering, which is your rice, that is there. So actually, it is the remnant of a Mandala Vaatika. So Agnihotra is not really different. And the tattva that is being invoked in Agnihotra is this tattva called Savitur. Those of you who know, the, uh, which, what is it that I'm saying?
Gayatri.
Gayatri Mantra. Yeah. So those of you who know the Gayatri Mantra, Om Bhur Bhuvaswaha Tat Savitur. That Savitur is actually that intense awareness. Savitur is a tattva and it comes from the prana of the sun. It's actually the plasma from the sun which hits the stratosphere at 11 kilometers height. And there's something that is called, there is a transition that happens. There is a very interesting physical phenomena that happens. It's called the inversion. It's there in my Agnihotra video. You can watch that. But it is that particular tattva of Savitur. Savitur is not really a tattva that you will go and worship, because it is to be done by self-invocation through Gayatri Mantra. And it's Advaitya, because there is no idol of Savitur anywhere you will find. Savitur is never an idol, because it belongs to completely the Advaitya branch of philosophy, where there is no form required for the divine tattvas. And this one is very, very extraordinary, because when you invoke Savitur through Agnihotra, you become very sharp. There is a certain ambient awareness that you have, a 360 awareness that you have, which normally people don't experience. So if you do Agnihotra very, very religiously at the proper time every day with innocence, then Savitur is a great tattva to invoke in your manifest reality. So I think I would have answered. Tony, am I with you there? Yeah, thanks. Charu says innocence is the very key requirement in MB, but the very act of trying to be innocent defeats it. Yes, absolutely. So that's exactly the point. I keep emphasizing the need for innocence, but if you think that you want to be innocent so that you can get the benefit of the Mandala Vaatika, that innocence is gone for sure. Which is why today I spoke about the real basis of a siddhi. Yeah. Gurudev gives many of his devotees siddhis, and many of you have experienced it. A siddhi is something that happens before even you have thought of it. But when it happens, you know that is what you wanted. That happens in innocence. So you don't have to try to be innocent. So Charud, my thing is like this. When you're holding a baby in your hand, you can just look at that baby and say that baby is innocent, right? The eyes of the baby are so deep, though you can look deep into those eyes because there's no filters, no judgments. The baby is innocent, right? So the question is the baby trying to be innocent? No, the baby is. Yeah. You can try to be scheming. You can try to be cunning. You can try to be manipulative. You can try to be all that. But innocence is your very nature. Innocence is your very nature. And when you see the power of living innocently and see how much you get empowered just by living very innocently, it's, I would say, one of the best addictions to have in life, just to be innocent and just be in wow with everything that's happening without you having to try to do something. Yeah. So I think, how does one be innocent? Stop being everything else. Stop being, over smart, over intelligent, over shrewd, manipulative, cunning, whatever. You can add a million adjectives to that. When you stop all that, what is left can only be innocence. I think, I hope I've tried to give you a clue to that. Thank you, Charu. Specifically, I would like to invoke it for each particular purpose I may desire, for each area of my life I may want obstacles to be removed. So, Nancy, again, Mandala Vaatika is not transactional. In the sense, I cannot say, hey, Sid, short form for Siddhi Vinayaka, Sid, I'm inviting you, but this is my wish list. If you're going to fulfill my wish list, then I'm going to invite you. Doesn't operate that way. It doesn't happen when you invite a friend just to chill. It's a very innocent transaction, right? So my answer to you, Nancy, would be, don't do it for anything. Just invite. Because the tattva is programmed to do what it has to do. You don't have to give it a wish list. And who knows what all Siddhi Vinayaka wants to do. Maybe it wants to give you so much and more, and you're asking for this very tiny thing. I mean, what a waste. I would say don't even go there, Don't even go there. Drop everything. Drop all your desires. Drop all the reasons why you want Siddhi Vinayaka in your life. And just say, Sid, I just want to chill with you. Come. That's it. It's as simple as that. And then you can, see what happens. But I would say that that's a far better way than saying, I want you, but then I am also going to make it slightly transactional because I want this, this is what I desire, this is my wish list, this is my wish basket, blah, 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 blah. And please, before coming in, I'm submitting this to you. Please come and make all this happen. Usually it doesn't work that way. It becomes too transactional. The tatwas don't like being, handed over wish list. So,
Thank you. I wasn't really sure what to do with it.
yeah,
That
my
makes
answer
sense.
to you, Nancy, I'm completely with you. I know the space you're coming from. I actually know that it's a very innocent space you come from, but it's a question. It's a very legitimate question. And my answer again to this would be just invite the tattva and forget about it. That's it. Don't even attach. Don't go to try and see, okay, it's 16 days since I've invited Sid into my life, but I don't see much happening. Just invite Sid and forget it. Enjoy the meditation and just forget it, because the experience of participants of Mandala Vaatika, I think by now there will be at least around 15, 16,000 people who have done this. I still get messages from, every day I get messages from people how MV is, interacting. Not to set expectations, but just to tell you, the best way to do it is invite and forget. Just enjoy that moment, and then the programming will happen. It's like, once you downloaded Microsoft Excel onto your computer, you don't have to tell Microsoft what to do, because that's the program. I mean, you put 4 figures, you want the total, that program will give you the total. There is nothing you need to tell every time. I'm installing you because I want the total for these 4 numbers. You don't have to tell. You just install, forget about it. Whenever you want the total of X number of digits, or you want to do whatever you want with numbers, Excel will do it, because that's its programming. This is exactly how creation has happened. It's happened by the interaction of these tattvas, these wave frequencies, each of whom has a program. They've come to existence because they have a program that they have to execute. So they will execute the program like whatever happens inside your computer. You don't have to do anything. They will do what they have to do, because that's the only thing they know to do. So we just put our faith in that and let it be. And this particular Mandala Vaatika only operates because we have a living master. And that, I think, is the key to why this course is such a powerful course. You have a living master who is holding a shield, a kavach, so that nothing untoward happens to you. Normally, these forces are so fundamental that when you try to play with these forces, like it happens in yantras, people can experience very, very, disastrous results. But in Mandala Vaatika, there is no question of this, because it is being done under the shield, under the protection of a living master. That's the only reason why this Mandala Vaatika has, reaches the kind of, gets the kind of dramatic results that people experience. So I think that is fairly special. Uh, when are we having the next TTC? Whenever Gurudev blesses it. So we still have to get our 20 teachers to start teaching. So that's something I'm looking forward to. And I think this 2024, quite a few of them are ready to announce courses. So I think after that, we'll go to Gurudev and take his blessing for the next TTP. Yeah. Any other questions from others? My teachers who are there. We have a lot of my teachers there. Any of the teachers want to ask questions? Chandrima. Who else is there? Nishala is there. Nishala might ask a question. I'll make her a co-host. Pam is there. So Pam is, welcome Pam. Always so wonderful to have you. You've made our lives so beautiful with this massive Zoom licenses that you've given us. Trust me, we use them to the hilt. So thanks to your intervention, we got that. Any of you? Yeah, Suchit, go ahead, please. You can unmute.
Sir, my question is, how many tatwas are there in total?
Yeah. So according to Pujya Gurudev, every deity that we know, every Devi Devata that we know, and they might run into thousands. Every Devi Devata has a mandala. So there are as many mandalas as there are Devi Devatas, which run into, I don't know, big numbers. But what has survived to this date may be around 200 to 250 mandalas have survived. And the Mandala Vaatika knowledge may be even lesser. So we will wait for Gurudev to, help us with this. Yeah. Sneha, would you like to ask? I see you have raised your hand.
Yeah, hi, Jai Gurudev. This is Subodh here actually. That's my spouse name.
Okay.
Yeah. So I wanted to understand, is it okay to do the Agnihotra inside home?
Sure. You can do it inside the house. There's absolutely no problem.
Okay.
You can do it inside the house. Ideally, if you do it on the terrace or if you do it outside where you catch the rays of the setting sun or the rising sun, would be ideal. But it's like Wi-Fi, your mobile might catch the signal better when you're outside, but it's not to say that if you're inside the house, you won't catch the mobile signal, right?
So I'm in US, so that's why I was checking. It's very cold right now. So
Please don't. One thing about Agnihotra, do it very happily. It's not some kind of a tapas that you have to do, that you have to go through hardship to obtain the fruit. It's another very innocent science. So by all means, just go ahead and do that. It's wonderful. Tony again.
Thank you, Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. It's also regarding Agnihotra, because in the video you mentioned that it's best with desi cow ghee, right? But here in Europe we don't have the desi cow, so I use just regular unsalted organic butter. Is it not good enough?
Yeah. So, like I said in that video, don't stop doing Agnihotra because you don't have the key. But again, to give you a clue, throughout Europe, we have got Sri Sri Tattva retail outlets. It's the retail marketing arm of the Art of Living. And they will be available on their websites in almost every country in Europe. We have a Sri Sri Tattva store. And you can directly contact the store and ask them for Desi ghee, because they import Desi ghee across the world and make it available to the followers of art.
I just
Sri Sri Tattva, that's the name.
I know this, but I was just told by someone that it was not from India, the ghee they sell in the Tatva shop here.
Well, I mean, if it says Desi ghee on the Tattva bottle, then I'm sure it is Desi ghee. It's not necessary that it has to be A2 ghee. A2 ghee also comes from Argentina. It comes from New Zealand. It comes from Australia. So it is possible. All we want is that it should be the what we call Zebu cow. The Zebu cow, which is a derivative of the Bos Indicus. So it doesn't have to come from India. I mean, you can source it from, Southern America, the Americas, South Americas. You can source it from many places. Even in Holland, for example, there are some farms which have A2 milk and A2 products, and the ghee from that will also work very well. Yeah, absolutely. So if you're outside India, then don't get too much caught with the Desi. Just look for A2. Any ghee that is from A2 cow, you're safe. But again, I said, I represented the results of scientific experiments which we did using desi ghee and other ghees. There was a difference, but in the big scheme of things, that's a small difference. It's a small trade-off. So don't get obsessed by it. At least don't stop doing Agnihotra because you don't have desi ghee. Start with any ghee. And eventually you start using desi ghee. If you really find that there is a great difference, then adopt it. Otherwise, continue.
Well, I learned it back in the days in the ashram when it was first time it was showed in the ashram. We were sitting out by the Mahesh. There's some huts where they were doing it every day, and we learned it there. And then when we came home, we made our own ghee and did it every day in our center. Many healing stories and all that, but yeah. So it definitely works, but of course I want the best.
Yeah, I understand. So you could try. So look for A2. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
will
that'll
do
be
that.
good enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Then, yeah, you're welcome. Sir, you mentioned that Kala Bhairava Tattva is not revealing easily. That what does that mean? Is it not able to get the mandala of it or anything else? No. This is nothing to do with Kala Bhairava. It is only to do with my ability to interpret Kala Bhairava. You see, the first 4 tattvas which I embarked on, they just happened like that. I would just, think of Durga, and Durga, I could experience the tattva. It was so easy to, formulate the modules for the training of Durga Mandala Vaatika or Murugan Mandala Vaatika. All the 4 mandalas just happened like that. Kala Bhairava is a googly that Gurudev has thrown at me, because earlier he was talking about Mahamrityunjaya and then suddenly he changed it to Kala Bhairava. Now, it's not Kala Bhairava is difficult. It's my ability to assimilate and imbibe Kala Bhairava Tattva that's proving to be a problem. So it's got nothing to do with the Tattva. It's something that I have, and I'm hoping that it is all waiting for this Shiva Diksha to happen. And the way things are panning out, I think that was the key for me to access this particular form of Shiva Tattva. So maybe that's just Gurudev's way of doing this. So, so it's nothing to do with Kala Bhairava. Actually, Kala Bhairava is fine. I have got certain limitations which Gurudev is going to sort of, smoothen out for me. Yeah. Sneha asks again, one more clarification. Do we need to sit face sun while we are doing? And yeah, so the direction of the sunrise and the direction of the sunset, that is what you face while doing it. Yeah. So that's in Agnihotra, that is what we look to do. Yeah. I think that is all right. Then can you say something more about Shiva Diksha? I have no clue, Tony. I like I said, somebody told me that this was happening just before Shivratri, and I thought to myself, this Kala Bhairava chap is giving me a tough time. Maybe I should get this Diksha before, I explore him further. And then I reached out to events, VDS events, and they said, sir, we are very sorry because we have a huge waiting list, some 1,800 people on the waiting list. Therefore, we are sorry if there are more than 1,800 cancellations, then definitely we'll put your name in. So I just dropped it. I said, okay, that's done. And then it happens within 6 hours, I get a call from the head of events, Sachin, and he says, sir, I've received a message from Swami Punya Chaitanya saying that you need to for this course. So I said, okay, I'll register. So that's how it all happened. So I really have no idea what Shiva Diksha is going to be, but obviously a Diksha is a Sanskrit term which is called initiation, which is the equivalent of initiation. So in English, when you say you're initiated into science, or you're initiated into a certain type of practice, or you're initiated to a certain knowledge, the initiation is it is a process whereby the lineage of that knowledge, that means we have the guru parampara tradition. Therefore, we have a master, our master had a master, that master had a master. So when we do the guru puja, we invoke so many of the ancient masters, and the last master is the is Brahma, as we know in the tatwas, and then it goes even beyond that to whatever is the ultimate master of the universe. So it is said that when you get this knowledge from the master, and the master, there is a process where the master actually takes a sankalp that this knowledge should now be yours. There is a very beautiful ritual where this diksha takes place. Diksha is initiation. So when the diksha happens, it's your master giving you that knowledge, which becomes yours. So you then can give the diksha at some point when you have mastered that knowledge, that tattva, or that whatever has been taught to you. Once you've mastered it, then you can become a master to give that to somebody else. So that's the Guru Parampara tradition. So obviously, Shiva Diksha means it is an initiation to the wave function or the tattva of Shiva. So that's what I think would happen, but I'll tell you once I finish the course. Till then, I'm as clueless as you are, because I don't think this has happened before, or maybe it has happened before and I didn't know about it. So that's also a
Prabhakarji, this
possibility.
is something they do about 100 seats or something, and they just fill up like in minutes apparently, because
I
people are
believe so.
waiting for it in
No clue.
Shivratri. People are waiting
Yeah.
for it, and before you hear about it, already it's closed. It's one of those
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
Navratri ashram seats in Navratri. It's a bit like that.
Right. Right. So this has been happening every Shivratri, is it?
I think at least the last 3 years, 2, 3 years, it's been happening, because I know somebody
Okay.
was able to get it. That's what.
Oh, okay. Okay. Awesome. So I will definitely share my experience of Shiva Diksha when I when I get my Diksha. So maybe after that Kala Bhairava will become very tangible for me. Right now I'm still struggling with Kala Bhairava. So that's what it is. Any other questions we have from our teachers, maybe? Chandrima, Nishala, Pam. Oh, we've got Aarti ji as well. Good evening to you, Aarti. Aarti, Arun, Chaya, Jatinder is there. Kanika is also here. Nice. Renu, yeah. Any questions? Anybody wants to ask? I got another 3 minutes, so. ज्योत्सना want to ask. ज्योत्सना, आप कुछ पूछना चाहेंगे? आप अनम्यूट कर सकते हैं. जी ज्योत्सना जी.
And it's not really a question. I'm just so foxed because you spoke about fluid in the ether, or Akash, whatever you want to say. And in one of my meditations, I had seen that fluid. It was like a huge sea. And I was wondering whether my mind has taken off. But when you spoke about it, I'm really amazed at the experiences Gurudev gives us. We
Absolutely,
have absolutely
completely.
no idea of what he is doing for us.
That's right. That's right. That is so true. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you. Any other questions we have with lots of other people? We have Vinod, anything from your side? You can unmute, yeah?
No, sir. Thank you, sir. Jai Gurudev.
Okay. Jai Gurudev, Vinod. Who else is here? Chandrima. Chandrima, where? Please ask some question, no?
No questions that come to my mind right now.
All right. All right. Aarti is putting up a hand, I think. Aarti ji, you can also ask.
No, doctor, I was just lazily putting my hand.
Okay. Okay then. Okay, so I think we've had, fairly interesting discussions. Each of my Q&A sessions have their own flavor. And I think today's flavor was very, very different from other Q&A sessions that we have done. Therefore, it's really very nice to, participate in this one. So again, we will meet last Sunday of March. And till then, do spread the word of Mandala Vaatika. There is another course that is starting very soon, which will go on till July. So it's a nice, lot of time is there for people to do that. So I will put that out by the end of this month. So please tell people to register for that course and experience the magic of Mandala Vaatika. So thank you all very much, and look forward to seeing you again soon. And Bhargavi, thank you for doing that intro. And, we look forward to, 9:30 on the dot, we shall close. Om Guru Bhyoya Namaha. Hari Om. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.